I thought you were staying. What if it's not focused? Please let it stay in focus. We're doing another video. I had one planned for you, but it was not focused. So you know what? I'm taking this as a sign that the one I'm about to do right now is going to be 10 times better. Today, we're talking about social proof that is working, social proof that isn't working, and how you can make sure that social proof that you're using is intentional at actually getting people off the fence and getting them into your coaching and courses and other programs to work with you. So the biggest thing with social proof, right? Social proof is basically evidence that you actually help people, evidence that you're good at what you do. And it's a way for people who are maybe new to you or haven't worked with you or haven't seen your work to be able to make a decision if signing up with you is the best fit for them. So here's the thing when it comes to social proof. I know a lot of people that are watching and listening are in the health and wellness space. So that's primarily what I'm going to be speaking to. But even if that's not you, that doesn't mean that this doesn't apply. So please still pay attention because it's still really important. So when it comes to social proof, social media has made it easier than ever to share social proof. Another thing to call social proof are testimonials. So when I say social proof and testimonials, I'm talking about the same thing. Social media, especially Instagram, has made it easier than ever to share that your courses, your programs, and working with you works. However, testimonials and social proof that were working a number of years ago are not working the same now. And the reason why that's happening is because a lot of it becomes repetitive, noisy, and also there are testimonials and social proof that are sometimes used that is not fully honest, transparent, and a lot of this is being manipulated. So in the health and wellness space, what happens is there are testimonials and social proof that are used, and let's say they are transformation photos. So what some people do, and I don't believe that they're doing this with malicious intent, but this is where social proof has kind of become something that people have ignored rather than actually using to make a decision. And that is when people use before and after photos that were done not using the solution that someone's presenting, or they are manipulated and not honest, or sometimes something that happens is people are using before and after photos that are not related at all to the individual that's sharing them or the solution that's being presented. And consumers are smart about this. Consumers know in 2021 to take transformation, physical transformation, before and after photos with a grain of salt. So the biggest social proof testimonial that's no longer working and no longer having the same impact that it once did before is before and after photos. So before and after photos are something that you have seen for years, especially in the health and wellness space, right? You see someone before, they maybe have a little bit more weight, they're unhappy, they're miserable, and then in their after photo, right? They're happy, they're smiling, there's usually better lighting, more flattering clothing. And so this is done to showcase a transformation. But again, where maybe 10 years ago, 5 years ago, these were really powerful, consumers know that unfortunately a lot of the times these things are manipulated. As I mentioned, in usually befores, people look very unhappy, miserable, they're wearing very unflattering clothing. And then in the after, they're maybe wearing more flattering clothing, they look happier, usually the photo quality and the lighting quality is better. And this is usually done in a way to make the differences more dramatic between these pictures. And so another way that different organizations and different ruling matters, such as the FTC, in how they're kind of handling before and after and physical transformation photos that are not necessarily fully transparent and honest, is a lot of these photos are no longer allowed to be used in formal advertising on something like Facebook. So Facebook ads that include these photos for the most part get rejected because there's no real necessary proof or evidence that the solution that someone is selling that is actually tied to these photos. And so consumers need to be better informed. However, this doesn't need to deter you from social proof because I'm about to share social proof that's actually a lot more powerful. Another reason why these testimonials and these social proof using something like before and after photos no longer carry the power that they once did is because there are a lot of people in this industry sharing these photos even though they did not have any contribution in facilitating the transformation in which they're sharing. So my network marketers, just because someone used a product that you also sell to sell these products doesn't mean that you should be using these photos, because you were not the facilitator, you were not the mentor for them that helped them get from point A to point B, and that really cheapens the value of these photos for the individual that worked really hard to achieve them. I do not recommend that anyone in network marketing or otherwise use transformation photos that they did not have a part in facilitating the transformation as a way to try to get someone to purchase products for them or join their team. I think it's a very fine line to walk between not in integrity and integrity. So I just don't recommend going down that path. So let's jump right into what social proof is powerful, because what a lot of people say is they come to me and say, Kayla, I haven't had a paid client, or I haven't done anything really powerful or anything worth sharing. What can I do? Now, here's the thing. You have facilitated transformations. You have made a difference in people's lives. The biggest thing is it's not about how much money you've helped someone make or how many pounds you've helped someone lose. The power in social proof is that it comes from someone else other than you. Meaning someone could literally say, Kayla, you are amazing. Thank you for that Instagram post that you did. I screenshot that and share it. That is social proof. That is someone else that took the time to consume my content telling me how great I am. And they didn't necessarily pay me. They took the time out of their day to share that. And that's where the power is. So someone in your community saying something nice about you counts as social proof. You helping a friend or family member for free to get your business rolling and off the ground in exchange for social proof is still powerful social proof, because it's not about how insane and out of this world the transformation is. The power is that it's someone else talking about you. It's not you saying how great you are. It's someone else taking the time to talk and share about how great you are. So start there. How do I get social proof? You have to ask for it. Now, here's just the fact of the matter, right? We're really busy and we want to help you. As your client, we want to help you and we want to be able to share with others how you've impacted our lives. But we're really busy. We have families, full-time jobs, other responsibilities. So we will not always volunteer this social proof on our own. It doesn't mean that we don't want to, and it doesn't mean that we don't care. It means you have to ask for it. So how can you ask for really powerful social proof? Depending on your industry, you can ask and should ask for written and or video. If it's in the health and wellness space and someone is a little bit more private and personal, they might not feel comfortable sharing a video, and that's okay. Maybe they're just not confident on camera. That's not a big deal. Ask for something written and ask for something specific, because here's the next piece about why you may not necessarily be getting social proof when you ask for it is people don't know what to say and they don't want to disappoint you. So what you can do is give parameters about what you expect in the testimonial or social proof. So for video, I will say 1 to 2 minutes shot vertical for Instagram stories and share what it was like working with me or what business was like before and what business is like now. If you are brand new or if someone isn't used to giving social proof or testimonials, I would give them even more specific prompts. Say something specific or answer this specific question. So I would give them maybe 2 to 3 questions max to answer in a video form or to answer in a written form. And what I have found is the more structure that you give, the easier it is for people to get it back to you, because now they know that they're meeting your expectations. The last piece to really consider here as well is you want to give people a timeline about when to get it back to you. Because again, our lives are really busy and there are always things that are going to jump to the top of that priority list. And unfortunately, sometimes that involves your testimonial getting bumped to the bottom. And it's not because they don't care. It's just that there's always fires to put out, right? Especially parents, you know what it's like. There's always fires to put out with these kids. So let them know when you need it by. I recommend giving about a week, and always set that please get this to me deadline to be well before you actually need it. Like if you want testimonials to go on a sales page or you are getting ready for a launch, always ask at least a week before you actually need it, because sometimes you might have to follow up with someone a couple times to get it. That is totally normal, and it doesn't mean that they don't want to, and it doesn't mean that they don't care. I always anticipate sending a follow-up message because, again, we're all busy, we get distracted, and sometimes someone just needs that little reminder to be like, oh crap, I promised I was going to get her that video. Another thing when it comes to social proof and a testimonial is always encourage someone doing it in the manner that they are most comfortable with. As again, we mentioned earlier, written or video. Think about your ideal client and your client and the person that you're working with. If they are not someone that is frequently on social media face to camera, then I would recommend asking for something written, because that increases the likelihood that you're going to get it back much faster. And another piece to think about here is always thank them profusely for the testimonial and social proof. And then another thing to think about is always ask their permission to share. Again, if they are not accustomed to creating social proof and testimonials. Again, this really depends on your industry. And when it comes to social proof as well, some people don't want to be named and they want it to be kept anonymous. Some people don't care. Me personally, I don't think it matters if there is a name or face attached to the testimonial or not. And I don't think that you are at a disadvantage if there isn't a tag or a face attached to it. It's always important to go by the comfort level of your client, because if you breach that trust, it's going to decrease the likelihood that they will give you a testimonial in the future. So always ask, and if they're sharing something personal, you can always make the decision to keep their name private, because especially those of you in the health and wellness space, a lot of this stuff is really personal, especially if someone is sharing where they were, which sometimes can be a really personal and dark place depending on the situation, and where they are now. Something else to think about is if you are in the space when you are in network marketing, talking about financials, always make sure that you are disclosing properly per the FTC where you need to properly disclose. I always recommend going to the website and double checking and making sure that if your company requires a sort of income disclosure statement, that you always include that, because we want to make sure that we're doing things legally and by the book. So always consult with your company's compliance department and the FTC if you have any further questions about that. But I hope that this was helpful in how you can really share powerful social proof. As far as where to post it everywhere. Share it in emails, share it on Instagram stories, share it on your Instagram feed. It's really, really important to make sure that you are showcasing it frequently, not just when you're launching. I like to sprinkle it throughout all of my content, and oftentimes I'll do it in real time when someone shares something really nice to me, because it makes me feel good, and people also love that you're taking the time to share something that they took the time to create for you. Another quick hack before we go is I highly recommend creating a highlight on your Instagram that's titled results, and then create one for client love. I break down the differences because results are things that are a little bit more numbers driven or a little bit more specific. And then client love is when someone is sharing something really nice about you, your content, and how you've impacted them. And I will constantly share social proof to those highlights. And here's why. Although people might not be bored enough on Instagram to just casually go coasting through your highlights, but whenever I'm having a bad day or feeling imposter syndrome or questioning if what I'm doing matters, which happens a lot, guys, I will be completely honest with you, especially when you're going through a growth phase. Ooh, does it hurt? But I will go through those highlights and I will watch them when I'm feeling down. And that's something that really gives me a quick boost of confidence. So there's a little hack for you. I recommend doing that. And any other questions you have about social proof, please shoot me a message on Instagram. I would be happy to answer. And if this video and this episode was helpful, please take a screenshot, tag me on stories with your biggest takeaway so that I know what to continue to create for you. And if you want to listen to the audio version of my podcast, not everything makes it on video. Make sure you're subscribed to the Stop the Hey Girl podcast, which you can listen to on Apple and Spotify. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you next week. Turn it off. I don't know how. Boop, boop. Please don't let this be blurry. I will cry.